They're very wet. It wasn't as bad there.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. We'll do pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
I have a question about something on there. I just wanted to question on the agenda calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
On the March, for the technology update and evaluation of the laptop program.
Right.
Is this the time that we allocate and okay the money to be spent for the following school year?
We could make that recommendation at that time, and that would help us get a jump start on
Yeah.
ordering that and getting them in.
Okay.
That would be helpful if we could, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if that was that time or if it could be that time.
Yes, I think we could do both the program evaluation and approve the purchases. Okay, at that time.
Great, thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It doesn't. We have to have a motion.
No, it should be more if there was someone not in favor.
Okay. So we all approve the consent agenda. Okay. Public comment?
Yes, I would like to ask the following individuals to come forward. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and we have much to celebrate. I would like to ask Andre Williams, Kyle Zimmersheet, and Cole Langford to come forward. In addition to Mrs. Morris and Coach Villagram are here tonight.
Really have made history in the Noster School District. We had two very special things occur, and we are so very proud of our student athletes and proud to be Panthers on their accomplishments. We'd like to first start with Andre Williams, and Andre is state long jump champion. And Andre, would you be so happy to share what grade you're in?
I'll be a junior this starting.
That's right. So we have a sophomore state champion in the long jump. We're very proud of Andre and his commitment to excellence. I know in the classroom and out on the track and field. And Coach Villagram, thank you also. That's quite an honor for both of you and our track program, which had a very successful season this year. And we wanted to make sure that on behalf of the Board of Education and our community, we wanted to thank you and tell you how proud we're very proud of you. And I want to make sure, and I don't want to leave anyone out, so I want to say the names correctly, and I think I have them written down correctly. I wanted to recognize also Kyle Zimmersheet and Cole Langford on their endeavors here. They are, and this truly made history, they are the 4th place doubles state champions, right? And that's the first time that we have had a tennis doubles team advance this fall. And so we are very proud of both Cole and Seth and or Kyle and Cole. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I'm so sorry. I knew I'd do that because I'm a little nervous. Kyle and Cole, we're very proud of you, and we're very proud of our tennis program, which just has been growing by leaps and bounds. And of course, we'd like to congratulate also Coach Scott Maple, our tennis coach, on this accomplishment. And I know state championships, 4th place champions in the state. That just doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of commitment from our student athletes, inside and outside of the classroom. It also takes a lot of time and devotion from their coaches and also from their principal in helping provide the support and resources for them to be successful. So also, there are people out in the crowd we need to thank, and if you could stand up at this time, I know we have the families present here of our student athletes. Could you all stand at this time? Because you all run up the practice back and forth. And Kyle and Cole, I want you all to tell our audience tonight what grade you are in as well.
We're gonna be some.
So they have 1 more year to get back out on the tennis court and to try to bring home another state finish, and that's an awesome thing. I also want to assure you that we are making great progress on our tennis courts. So we should have those up and ready if it would stop raining. Okay. So again, we are so very proud of you and your accomplishments. It's you represent Noster in such a very proud fashion. Thank you very much.
It's a delay. Okay. I would also like at this time to recognize we have some of our new administrative team members here with us this evening. To my direct right is Dr. Jared Wheeler. He's our new Assistant Superintendent of Schools. We introduced him at our last meeting, but it's nice to have him on board.
Glad to be here, and I'm glad to be here. Look forward to working with you guys, and we have, 3 or 4 weeks left before you come back to school, so I hope you have a great rest of the summer, and look forward to, let's make it 3, something like that, and look forward to working with you when you return in the fall. Feel free to reach out if I can be of service to you now or anytime in the future. Thanks.
I would also like to call your attention to, to your right, my left of the column here. We also have with us our new Director of Student Services, and I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Angela Rolfelson, and we're glad to have her join our team as well. Her office is located in our district team office, and we've just hit the ground running, so we're glad to have her on board. Also, we have, I would like to introduce Mrs. Shelby Brodsinger, our new middle school principal, and she has been working very, very hard already in the office early, going to training. And beside her, I would like to also introduce Miss Christy Mellon. And Miss Mellon has also been in the office at trainings. They've kind of been together. You'll see them a lot doing training together, but also in their offices getting ready for the school year. They are very excited. And I can't tell you how happy I am and proud of the excellent administrative team we've assembled for the coming school year. So welcome, and we're glad to have each of you. So.
We have public comments from the KN MSTA.
Casey's weren't in your packets. I'm going to be sure I'll have a copy of the information you were sharing.
Thanks. That's what they received. Yeah. They received.
Everybody get a copy? Did you have another?
I need one more.
Great. It's much
We
I
already
think
have.
that's just a little too low in my catch here. So just,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
well,
He has what they have. This is what you all had yesterday. It's been distributed, but
We want to thank you for the opportunity to come because within weeks, it's time to start opening some dialogue around policies around HA and GPD. I'm going to go straight to HAs. No. And what you will see are some recommended changes that we would like you to consider, as well as some notes. And I'm going to hit those ones that are, or highlight some in the area of scope, timeliness, and finalizing content. So if you would move to comment 3, scope for collective bargaining includes compensation package and working conditions. However, in the state of Missouri, collective bargaining, working conditions has not been defined yet by a court of law. And so it's the district's responsibility to actually make a definition of what will be included in working conditions. And so it's our recommendation as a starting point that we would recommend but not limit ourselves to include discussions regarding the school calendar, professional development, and additional duties that are not covered under the extracurricular schedule. Those are 3 items that greatly impact the staff's working conditions and therefore the student learning. If you'll move to comment 6, this gets into timelines. We initiate negotiations in December, and we're required to submit issues to the administration about what we're going to negotiate in February. What we would recommend that we add is that the administration responds back to us within 15 days what issues are actually negotiable. So in the event that they would be deemed as not being negotiable, then we can send them to the appropriate committee, department, administrator, or possibly even bring it to you as a Board of Education. That way we're not waiting till March or even April to find out that's an issue that's not going to be open. Then if you will move to comment number 7, the second part of that timeline is the actual negotiation schedule. Currently, it says that we will start on February 1 and we have to finish by June 1. You guys know that, but we have to have a salary schedule approved by May 15th, and this district prefers to have that be a final, if at all possible. And so in order to align with our school districts, we would like to recommend that we start negotiations in January and finish in May, so we can move that down. Finally, under the final statement around comment number 9, when we talk about you ratifying an agreement, the final statement says that it will be brought to the board and you can accept it, reject it, or modify it. We would like to ask that in the event that an agreement is not ratified, that each team, both the teachers and the district, is given the opportunity to present the best and final offer to the board with their rationale. And this would allow you, therefore, to ask questions before making a decision. If you look at these recommendations and the timelines that we propose, you're going to find, I think, that this really encourages more collaboration, and it's very reminiscent of what we did in the past, while at the same time protecting the integrity of negotiations. So we really hope that you'll consider that. In GBB, the only recommendation that we're strongly making is that the superintendent now makes decisions with stakeholder input. We are requesting that on committees that we have at least one member represent any newly established bargaining unit selected by that unit instead of by a plan. And the reason for that is that person has a greater responsibility, therefore, to the unit that they're representing. And then in the event that they need a vote, and they can't seem to get enough people to participate, then we have feet on the ground. We have people that can go out and collect those votes. An example of that would be like when the health committees came in and made their recommendations. They were basing their recommendations on a response rate of 39 individuals. That's less than a 30% response rate. And if in fact they had come back to the organization and said we'd like help to get responses from everyone, we normally render at least 90 to 99% response. So that would be recommended. So we hope that you take those into consideration. And if you have questions at any time, we're really serious about looking into dialogue on policies that will really help us better that.
Thank you. Okay, administrative report.
Yes. President Matthews. I would like to update our Board of Education on the monthly financial update. Year-to-date revenue generated is at 107.5% of the anticipated amount. Year-to-date expenses realized are at 93.6% of the budget. Thus, budget trends remain healthy for the close of the fiscal year 2014-15. I'd like to congratulate our Board of Education and our entire team for being good stewards with our resources. We've done a fine job this year. I'd like to provide just a quick food service update. We know we have interviews for the OPA food service director that will be conducted on this Friday, July 10th. They were rescheduled. OPA needed to reschedule those, and they did ask for board members, a board member and I to serve on this committee to provide input. We look forward to hopefully finding a food service director on Friday and getting ready for the 2015-16 school year. On our facilities update, our safe and secure entry project has been completed. All 4 buildings now have intercom and buzzer entry systems in place. As always, we keep in mind the safety of our students and staff is of utmost importance to our school district. In addition, I'd like to thank our district technology team as they've been working diligently to wire all 4 buildings in preparation for camera installation. The cameras just arrived, I think yesterday, and today, so we're excited about that, as well as our computers. So we're excited about that. The Noster tennis court and repair project is in progress and should be completed in the next week, weather pending. The rain has made it quite challenging to finalize this project. We still will be able to host tennis camps in July. We just might have to start them a week later. So we would have been finished, but the rain has just been a real challenge for construction. I'd like to provide a short legislative update. I did attend the Military Impacted Schools Association Conference on July 28th through July 1st. Important legislative updates and advocacy efforts were highlighted. Staffing patterns for the Air Force will include some realignment of staff with few projected cuts for the upcoming year. That's very good news for us. Some of our other military branches are experiencing, particularly the Army, are anticipating to experience some significant cuts. Federal budget discussions are ongoing as their fiscal year doesn't end till September 30th, and they're trying to get a budget ready by that time as well. However, the House has proposed a new amendment. It's the Tyee-Jones Amendment, which would increase the Department of Defense Supplemental Impact Aid to $50 million, where the current bill is only at $25 million. So it would double the funding there if that moves forward through the House and then Senate. An additional $5 million is proposed to be allocated to provide for our children in military families with severe disabilities as well. As always, every year we hope that ESEA, our National Education Elementary and Secondary Act, will be reauthorized. We've kind of hoped that for the last 50 years or so that some action would take part on that. The Congress is in the throes of that conversation right now, and our Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan, highlighted the need for the ESEA Act, which was first adopted 50 years ago, to be reauthorized. Quote, he said, "We need a new law that does a lot more to support innovation and creativity by educators and communities, and a lot less to stifle that creativity. Our work is not done until we have lived up to that promise. To do that, we need a new ESEA that fulfills the rights of all children so that everyone can have a real opportunity to succeed." So we're very excited. We receive weekly updates on this. We'll see it's gaining traction. We'll see see if we have reauthorization in the future. I really want you to know, though, that Impact Aid and Title VII monies was really the big reason for a lot of our title programming that we have today. So the government has, our federal government has really led the charge in that area in supporting public education and supporting our military-connected public schools, and so that good work continues. I would like to provide a very short human resources staffing update. Like most districts across the state, we continue to closely monitor enrollment numbers as students transition in and out of the district. It is not uncommon for districts to adjust faculty and faculty assignments as student numbers settle into place through Labor Day and beyond, or have to add staff members. We continue to screen for quality applicants as positions may require, and we do have some postings currently. So just want you to know we are screening. We've conducted some interviews this week. So we are really monitoring that situation, been visiting with our principals and counselors as they're scheduling and our administrative assistants. Community outreach update. A successful event was held on June 26, 2015 at Noster Middle School. The first, what we hope will be annual Panther Summer Splash, was a great opportunity to celebrate the start of summer and to welcome new families to our community. Special thanks to Whiteman Air Force Base Youth Center Director Gerald Torres, our own middle school art teacher Lisa Duncanson, Mrs. Sparks and Mrs. Brooks, who are both in the audience this evening. Want to thank them for helping to coordinate this collaborative event between Whiteman Air Force Base Youth Center and the Noster School District. Thank you to all who helped by sharing their time, creative ideas, and resources for the Panther Summer Splash. We had our team members and volunteers from around the community come and volunteer their time, and I tell you, everyone had an amazing time. Over 350 plus students, staff, and community members attended this event, and I look forward to partnering together again soon. What a great team effort. And I know Mrs. Davis, thank you for coming up and helping us with the watermelon, and Mr. Fisk as well came by that day. I know it was a very busy day, but we really had a good time. In fact, it was hard to only keep it within the hour and a half. We extended the time a little bit, had a good time. So that was so successful. We've been back to plotting and planning again. And so we had a very successful meeting today, and we are planning a second outreach event. The Back to School Panther Pool Party will be held on June 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. July 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Whiteman Air Force Base Pool. The Whiteman Air Force Base Youth Center and Noster School District are proud to partner together to welcome new families to our community and to get ready for an exciting 2015-16 school year. And I want to say this is a most significant event too. I really want to thank Colonel Sparks, Mrs. Brooks, the Youth Center for opening their doors, because children in our community can go swim out on the base. We do have a sign-up process that we will have to participate in, but it's just wonderful to be able to see the children from our Noster and Whiteman Air Force Base communities getting to know each other and fellowshipping together. So it's going to be a great thing. So we'll look to see some information on that. And that does conclude my board report.
I have a couple of questions, Dr. Loren.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
classroom size,
Mhm.
it's my understanding that the middle school classes came out online.
Well, actually, nothing should be online right now. Ms. Shelby and I were just speaking about that. We are still working on our schedules. So Mrs. Wallace, our counselor, is still working on the classroom schedules. And so the schedule has not been finalized yet, but we closely monitor and evaluate those numbers. It's not, they're still adjusting classes and trying to balance numbers. And I am conferring with the principal and counselor to see if additional staffing is needed. Or not.
In the elementary school as well.
I just visited with Miss Mellon tonight, and you'll hear more when we talk about our personnel later on, executive session.
So that the access that the teachers had to that is incorrect.
It is, and really that, there's a function that was accidentally left on our student information system because really staff and students, those aren't accurate schedules right now. So we are working to close that portal until we finalize our schedules. Because we don't want to alarm anyone, yes. So we just found that out about that this afternoon, so.
Anyway, okay.
We're on it though, it's on our radar.
All right. Good job. MSBA report, I'll view it online. It didn't come up for me either.
It was in our board packet, there was a link. But I can send an email too. We can do that.
Whiteman report.
Thank you. First, I'd like to offer that we, as most of you know, just concluded our air show and 4th of July events. Hopefully, many of you got to enjoy both, what we consider both very successful events for Whiteman in the community. And we will continue our busy summer with upcoming events that I'll mention here. The first in August is a base-wide and installation-wide federal emergency management training. That training will include non-base officials from across not just the Department of Defense, but the Department of Justice, Department of Energy, FEMA, et cetera. That's a really big deal for our base. It's obviously a very big deal for our country as we are work together with the rest of the government and the whole of government training to prepare for emergencies. That's in August. In late September, we have our nuclear surety inspection. And both events, both the training and this nuclear surety inspection are kind of significant emotional events for the airmen and officers on the base. And so we'll spend the next couple months really ramping up for those, as well as just our normal busy summer flying schedule. I'd like to echo Dr. Lorenz's positive comments about the summer and back to school events that have occurred and will continue to occur. We too were pleased with the summer splash and are excited about the pool party. Would also like to pledge our support for the upcoming back to school backpack block party that's coming up. We're looking at ways we can team with the school to support that. And finally, I was mentioned, I don't believe Dr. Lorenz has mentioned it, but the last school administrators tour was so successful, and with the upcoming new school year, we're going to offer another opportunity for the administrators and key personnel from Noster to come back on the base for another tour of our facilities and some key insights to our mission sets in the spirit of collaboration and partnership. And unless there are questions, that concludes my report.
Was there a time for that time frame?
I don't think we have the date set, or do we?
The third.
3rd of August.
3rd of August for the tour, correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
The 3rd of August, will probably be in the morning time. We'll do a half-a-day tour, and then a working lunch, and then we have we're meeting as an administrative team. Yeah, to plan for next year. That'd be great. We'd love to have you join us.
Not to forget.
Right. We have one more announcement we'd like to make too. I know Donna Greikercheck is working very hard, and we are partnering with her, with Whiteman Air Force Base and the Noster School District 2 to work on our back to school block party. It will be held on August the 11th from 6 to 8, and that is always a good time of fellowship. Usually have hamburgers, hot dogs, lots of great music. Usually have spotting of our band plays, cheerleaders and football players, some of our other athletes come and talk and kind of encourage people to get involved with activities throughout the year. And so we're looking forward to that and how we can do that outreach as well. Yes, and lots of giveaways. Last year we gave backpacks. We had different colleges that were represented there. There were children's games. It's a great time of fellowship. So
Thank you, Dr. Wayne.
I would be remiss too, Colonel Sparks, would you like to introduce our special guest we have in the audience tonight as well?
Our wing commander's lovely wife is with us this evening, Angel Tibbetts.
Yes, well, thank you. And Ms. Tibbetts, we didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I looked up and saw you and I'm like, oh, I wanted to thank you for coming. And actually, Ms. Tibbetts is joining our committee of planning, I think, with Ms. Brooks and Ms. Sparks and I. We're going to work on some outreach projects together. So we're very excited about that. So thank you for coming tonight.
They're working hard to gang up on you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, under new business, approval of bills.
Make a motion to approve Part A of the bills.
Question, what is the, anyway, it was on their tennis court maintenance to CED. Is that for the company that is fixing it, or is that like a partial payment, or what was that?
That was for supplies, I believe Dean was using to help with the drainage issues,
Oh,
so
okay.
getting ready.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it was actually for light bulbs with the tennis court. We changed the bulbs prior to them working on the court, because we didn't want to get on the court again after it was completed. So that's what that was. It was from actually CED Phillips and Company.
Oh, okay.
Out of Stelly.
Thank you. But we have spent some money working on the drainage issues. We had to rent some equipment and we got some new rock and pavers and done a lot of dirt work to try to keep the water out and new light bulbs. And we should be in really good shape if the rain will stop. It's looking really good. And I know I'd like to thank Dean, but I'd also like to thank Rich. He's sitting back there. I see him. He's really been helping us monitor that project and making sure we're getting it ready to go and in good shape. So appreciate that.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Give
All right, approval of bill B.
I make a motion that we approve bills B and R.
I'll second.
Weren't we gonna move those?
No, you can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We looked into it, but unless we move them all, correct? I mean, wasn't that part of it?
Well, somebody still have to abstain, so you couldn't.
Right, still have to abstain, yeah. That's right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Okay, part C.
I make a motion to approve Part C bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And abstain? One. June payroll bill.
Those are just our normal payroll bills that we have every month.
All in favor?
Well, those are usually just included with all of our bills. Those are things we approve, contract amounts for teachers and
So P cards is next time.
no, that's typically part of our bills too, but if there are any questions, we can.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
Yes.
does he have a question? I'm gonna say no. And
Do you have any questions on P card bills?
Is there a way, I know we see this every month after month after month, that Ms. Combs keeps popping up on the P-card transactions. Is there some way we can have that fixed?
No, she really should have. These were for the months before bills. So June, she was still here. So she will not, she doesn't have a P card now. It's been destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was truly a bill. We had some supplies and conferences we had to enroll people in. So that's why. It's a month delay. So,
But those will be changed.
right. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So the one for April Williams, was that paid for by Steam then? For her to go to Steam, for Steam supplies?
Yes, steam supplies are paid.
Is there any other questions? Okay, so you said that's all been included, all right. Revenue,
That's
That
just
included
your
too?
information. Okay. That's just what I report on. That's why you have that information.
are there any questions on that?
Was this impact aid, was that the last one we got?
That includes the last one we got. And that's why we got a little bit more because, we got that in January, that extra payment from 2011.
And when was the next one due? It was due.
We got it in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and that is included.
Okay.
Yes. Now, we usually get 2 payments a year. Usually get our first payment, we hope in November or December, we just never know. And then the other one we hope to get in May or June. And then sometimes we get random ones, throughout the year from back years. If they decided that they had more money when they closed the end of the year and had more money to support the LOT, Learning Opportunities Threshold, and they raise that percentage, then they send us the difference that they, so. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Moving right along, the fuel bids.
Yes, we only received 1 bid at this time. There are 2 really locations in town at this point in time that has both diesel and gasoline. But we did receive the bid from Samar Group. That's our current diesel and gasoline fuel provider. And so our recommendation at this time is to accept the proposal from Samar Group LLC. Fuel prices are based on the distributor's rate plus taxes per gallon, in addition to a 0.0500 cent markup per gallon of diesel and a 0.0200 cent per gallon markup of gasoline.
Whose recommendation is this? It just says my recommendation.
It's mine, sorry, yeah, sorry.
Well, is there any questions about this? I have a couple of questions about this. Have we looked into the possibility of having fuel out at the bus barns?
Actually, Dean and I are in conversation about that now. And it would take some planning and some groundwork out there, but, eventually that's something that might be able to take place.
The reason I'm asking that question, Dr. Lorenz, is my business sits right across the street from Samar gas station.
Yes.
It's a disaster area over there. Lots of buses go in and out of that gas station. Someone or something is going to get hurt over there. I was hoping that other businesses in town would offer a bid. However, they have not offered a bid. I would really like for the administration to not accept this bid right now.
Okay.
And to look at, either MFA or what Lamont has a co-op over there, and I forget the name of it, and maybe putting fuel in a more location. If you watch those buses.
No, we And we have even, I stopped by to see Sam, the owner, and he was not available, but I know there's been conversation in the past about the possibility of maybe relocating, the diesel fuel fill up, tank. But there's nothing that's been solidified on that. But we have made it, this past year. It's not ideal, but we've done it for about a year and a half.
Right.
So,
I just think it's an accident waiting to happen.
Right.
And they're gonna come maybe back with us insurance wise or whatever. That's just-
right. No, that's good feedback.
Is it feasible to have a tank there with it? It's a bus barn. I mean, I'm sure that comes with,
Right.
you know.
We feel like that we would have to do some groundwork out there, maybe some rock or concrete. We've talked about this a little bit. We really have. It's just Dean's kind of the nuts and bolts guy about all this. Yes, it could be done, and probably could go through MFA or one of the local distributors to do that. But again, we need to be prepared to have a system in place, and have that site prepared so that we could do that.
Well, Dean, is that possible to have done before the school year starts?
I can, yes. But, we just have to get on it, instead of, I don't need to make arrangements. One thing we need to get, we would have to get like an answer from MFA or the co-op if they're willing to give us, whatever price and who we're going with. I know MFA will give us 1,000-gallon tank plus a storage bin, put tank in for spills. I'm not sure what Vermont's got, but it's possible, yes.
It has to have a containment pit.
Right.
And MFA has got the containment pit available now. I have not talked to Vermont.
I will say my only concern is we have a very long list of things for Dean that he's already working on right now. I'm sure he would go the extra mile and get some things done. I just don't know, with school starting in 5 short weeks, I don't know the time frame if we could get it done quite in time and Dean still being able to take his vacation. So I don't know if we can definitely reject this bid and just continue getting gas where we're getting it and investigate moving that direction and not enter into a year-long, agreement with Knob 66. And that really would be my recommendation at this time, because I don't want to put any undue pressure on our maintenance. We kind of have some projects that we already have.
Month by month.
I would just go with that month. We can reject this bid. My recommendation would be to reject this bid and just continue to purchase as we are right now and investigate if it's feasible for us to put gasoline or diesel fuel on site. I mean, there's other things I want to look into. Not only can we make it happen fiscally, the area, and feasibly, but I want to talk to our insurance companies and that sort of thing, because we do accept some other liabilities. We could table the bid as well. That's another option for consideration. That might be better to table
I'm
it.
just concerned the insurance liability on us when I see them going in and out.
Right. Right. Why don't we just table this topic? Maybe that's better. That gives us some more time to do some legwork for in August.
Well, if we reject the bid and
She said too.
no, let me talk. If we reject the bid, then there's a possibility that we may get an additional bid from the other fuel station in town.
Only if we call for another bid. I mean, they won't just come
Well, I
up
mean,
and
if
say,
if
we'd have to call for,
re-advertise the
right,
bid,
advertise.
and hopefully that we can possibly get a competitive bid then, if this doesn't
Right.
happen.
That is another option.
Because if we table it, then we're basically not accepting this bid, but we're saying, yeah, this is okay. But if we reject it, then
Right.
hopefully we'll get a second bid, or third bid maybe.
Timeline wise, this bid is from August 1 through
It
July.
is all this one
And so we have to make a decision on this bid
tonight,
before August 1.
right, and we don't.
I
right
mean,
now
we can
have it.
schedule
Right,
something.
yes.
I mean, honestly, I want to see, I mean, if we're going to go with a different plan other than what we've gone for in the past, we do want to make sure that it's fiscally responsible for us to have our own tank
Absolutely.
and look at the price of what the fuel is that we're going to be able to get versus somebody that already has a pre-existing arrangement.
That's right.
And so I would hate for us to box ourselves in. But I don't know, it's short of having another meeting on this before August 1st, that we wouldn't be able to just go and we're going to be accepting probably a price hike for going and paying it at whatever the rate is that they want to put up on the board for us as opposed to.
Right, we would be guaranteed, some security if we would approve this. And, we could approve this and go and see if they would be willing to relocate where the buses do fill up. And then that would give us more time to investigate with our insurance company and with just our options at pricing out and bidding out, putting something on site too. That's another option. It's just with school starting so quickly, we need to take some kind of action. But these are all good suggestions and ideas to consider.
Would we be looking at legal issues as well?
Having, yes.
My recommendation, or whatever is we forego this bid, let it expire. If we run to the ground and determine we can't put our own tank system in, that's just not feasible. We can always go back out for a bid for a shorter than 12-month period. So we're not buying it at least in market price. And would it be this rate? Possibly not, but then also maybe we can, talk to other vendors and say, hey, can you bid on this too? That'd be another option, but at least you wouldn't be locked in and then 2 months later find out you could do tanks and you're stuck for 10 more months on a contract.
Right.
So just recommendation wise, since this is a local business, I don't necessarily want it to be in the paper that we rejected their bid, but I just suggest we don't there's no motion on.
No motion.
Just for,
No, I agree with her that we should do month by month and, not lock ourselves in for a 12-month period on this and do some research on it and give Dean some time so we could take his vacation and whatnot to research it. And, no, I don't want to reject a local business either, but I really believe it's a safety hazard over there. A huge one.
So we're just not taking any motion on this. And I will go visit with Sam.
And Paul wanted to know if we could get representatives for MFA. And where else? MFA and where else?
Yeah, wrote that down. Yeah.
Right.
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 We're all right. Yes. No action's going to be taken on this bid, and I will go visit with our current provider. Yes, we will follow up in August. Yes, absolutely. I'll get with Dean.
Okay, van bids.
Yes, we received 2 van bid proposals. And we did request that at least they be 2015 model year, 7-passenger minivans. Right now, the recommendation is to purchase one 2015 model year 7-passenger minivan from Bryant Motors at a cost of $21,550. Our other reason for going with that bid, it was the low bid, but it's also geographically closer, the dealership. So if we're needing some service and maintenance beyond what, Mr. Bill takes really good care of us. He can do oil changes and such, but if we need to get the van looked at, then it's close by, we can get that taken care of. This is to help in meeting some of our special programs, transportation needs. But when it's not being used for that, we can use it for some of our extracurricular programming and meetings,
And you,
trips.
we're keeping the other van.
We have to keep the other van and we will be using it as well too. Yes, sir.
Does it have to be handicap accessible?
No, it just has to be equipped with seat belts.
And this is falling within our 2020.
It is falling within our 2020. We're taking action on this. This is good. Yeah, we're making
I make
steps.
a motion that we purchase the van from Bryant Motors as stated.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Star reading proposal?
The star reading proposal. Mrs. Williams is here in the audience tonight a little bit. Ms. Williams, would you like to highlight and share a little bit about our proposal?
Okay, we renew our star reading series every year, and so part of this is just the renewal fees for the elementaries and the middle school. However, this year, the high school also wanted to include the star. When we had decided to stop using the star in the assessment at the high school level, it was because really the assessment was showing us a post-high school and we couldn't show growth in the students. And so we didn't feel like we were getting the data from that. By looking at this proposal, you'll see we're asking to move up a step because we're actually two generations behind. And so if we move up a generation in that program, it'll allow us to look at our Lexile reading scores, which will allow us to show growth within the high school. So this would add that back into the high school assessments, and we'll be able to show reading growth with our high school students as well.
So this is the one that gets everybody on the same reading, so we can monitor them from elementary all the way
First grade,
through.
12th grade.
Is there an additional cost for that?
It is a slightly higher cost than last year because we are moving up to the level that would allow us to look at our Lexile scores rather than just a grade equivalent. So grade equivalent would be like 6.5, whereas a Lexile score you have a number in the hundreds, 115, and it will grow. So we'll be able to see that with the high school students instead of just at one point being a post high school, we'll be able to see the changes.
This is something that's been requested the last couple of years by our teachers and administrators really wanting to be able to see those Lexile scores. So I think this will be a nice change.
And it was a decision, high school commerce.
Yes.
Was this initially placed in the budget or is this something new that just came on?
No, it's placed in the budget.
What's the difference in the cost?
Well, just adding high school is 3,300.
Right.
Right. And then I just can't remember how much it was. I just can't remember how much it was. In the other one.
So that's an additional 3,300 to the initial cost that was in the budget, or is this?
No, this has all been budgeted. I asked Ms. Williams to get these numbers, so when I planned this budget for this school year, it's already been built into the budget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of moving on to Jimmy's dream, right? Helps us out.
Yes, it does. Thank you for bringing that up. Mr. Hill was very passionate about reading and growing readers in our school district, so that is right. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
All in favor? I guess we have to have.
Move that we approve the star rating proposal as presented.
I'll second.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it. If it was already originally
What?
included in the budget, I don't even know why it just wasn't done, but
It's because of the dollar amount.
And it's in addition to the high school. In the past, it's just been elementary.
Well, it's mostly the dollar amount. When it goes over, a certain dollar amount, I definitely want you all approving that. So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Gym floor refinishing project.
Okay, Mr. Dean, would you like to come up and share our recommendations on this?
As part of the 2020 plan, we had recommended that we do the high school gym floor. And also the middle school gym floor complete on that one. But the high school gym floor, we got Mr. Manuel, I think you might have the prices of. The high school gym floor, I don't know what the totals were, but they were somewhere around. Where you go? I got my glasses even. Anyway,
Dan's got something on you.
I brought mine this week.
I think total, we had one screening, we had $1,512. And if we had an additional screening, $650, and then, there's no repurchase gym on the stage floor. And on the steps, I went ahead and changed steps himself.
Yes,
So he's just gonna put toes on it.
right.
So we had that total, and,
The grand total on that was, by manual floors, was $15,986.50.
that included the middle school gym floor.
Yes,
And
yes.
then the other bid we had was, I believe like 7,200 or 8,000 just to do the middle, on the high school floor. And I think this one's 35,000.
37 for the other.
37,000 to do the others. And my recommendation would be to go with Mr. Manuel and have him do the high school floor to screen it, and then do a complete finish on the middle school floor. Which was considerably less.
Yeah.
Dean, was that refinishing, was that to replace the boards that were all loose and everything too?
On the high school floor.
Okay.
And this was also built into our Mission 2020 plan, built into the budget.
So this actually came in lower, didn't it, than what we were thinking it was gonna originally be?
On the high school.
Yeah.
Well, we're just going to, going off his recommendation, we're just going to, just put a sealed floor, and it's on sand and sealed floor. And then his other recommendation at the time was to go ahead, the middle school, it just needs the whole works done, so that's why we went to go.
When's all this gonna take place?
He can actually do the high school, pretty quick. And then the middle school, we're gonna have to work in his schedule. And I told him, if we did go this way, the worst scenario, we put it in the Christmas break. If we can get it, you know, 'cause he needs, it's just 2 weeks or so.
So the 1,500,
2,000.
well, no,
Or on, sorry.
$1,512.
well, on the front where you said already completed by district staff, so that 1,500's not included in that.
There'll be a little bit on there for him to seal the floor. Yeah, I did the census.
So the bid is including both buildings.
Yes,
Yes.
And was that part of the 2020?
it sure was. And part of our budget we put together.
I make a motion to approve the floor refinishing as presented with manual.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And we have one more.
Whiteman parking lot upgrade project.
Mhm.
Okay, this was the, initially on the 2020 plan, we proposed to do all the park lots and all the playgrounds, and so, of course, the amount of money that came through was, I think around $40,000 for the whole thing. Anyway, for the 2020 plan, we decided we would do the worst one,
Mhm.
and at the time, I had looked at Whiteman Air Force Base, the park lots and playgrounds would be the worst. We had, the 2 bids that came in from there was a Pat Orland, which had, and then the asphalt seal coating striping OSC. Both these individuals have done work for us before, and the Pat Orland, his bid was $13,237, which was approximately roughly $1,000 with $1,000 less. And I'd recommend go with Pat Orland. I think they're both capable of doing it, but you just haven't had the lowest bid.
Dean, does that take care of the that low spot in the parking lot, or is this just a seal and
This is
stripe?
just basically a seal. They'll fix potholes and that type of thing, but the low spot that you're talking about, that's actually a problem that's existing because they come in there at some time in history and put another layer of asphalt on top of the asphalt, and it's higher than what the drain is. So there's no, other than water building up and dribbling off, it takes quite a bit of work.
So would it have to be ground then, or?
Might have to be ground or a drain put in.
Yeah.
And then, we're talking quite a bit. My recommendation would be go.
I'll make a motion, we approve, the parking lot playground, proposal to Pat Gorman as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dean. I appreciate Dean's help, and he's worked really hard to get these bids and plan these projects, so thank you for your help.
Okay, staff handbook and guides for 2015-16.
I make a motion, we approve as written.
I'll second.
Any conversation, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Meal price recommendations?
Okay, we can see, we provided for you, Dr. Wheeler and I provided for you, kind of the previous 3-year recap on prices and, the proposal on, we use, Desi has an online food, estimate, calculator. And so our proposal is as written there to propose a nickel increase to student breakfast, adult breakfast, student lunch, and adult lunch, and to keep the extra milk price the same as last year.
Now, this won't change if we decide not to go with the next year. This is what the state says that we need to set a price.
Right, they give us a ballpark of where we need to set it, yes, and if we're within a range.
That's a good question. It was the same question I was gonna ask. Was this an OPA increase or was this?
Oh, no, this has, no. Yeah. This is something we'll have to do each year, whether we do our own or contracting it out.
One more time.
Well, in response to that, you can see then we are doing pretty well there. Then we're not on the high end of that range. And, part of that is because, they're OPA that can, get the food at a little bit cheaper prices because of their bidding process and bidding power, so.
I make a motion that we accept the meal price set for lunch as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, review board policies. Let's start with BBFA 2.
Board member conflict of interest and financial disclosure. Pretty straightforward.
Is there any questions about that?
The only thing that I'd like to maybe see if we could maybe ask Katie to do is next March-ish timeframe, remind us all that we need to, not me as a candidate, I
Right.
would, if I decide to run. But everybody else on the board might use a little bit of a friendly reminder to get that in a couple months ahead of time, so we're not too late this time.
Scrambling at the last minute, yeah.
Absolutely. So That's okay.
Thank you. That's an excellent idea.
Okay, BCA one,
It's our board organizational meeting. It's when we
right,
reorganize.
when I read that, it says that we have to elect a secretary, not the secretary of the board, but the way I read it, we have to elect the secretary.
Well, I think that we have that it was going to, that the job was deferred to the secretary.
Yes, because it says the secretary and treasurer may or may not be members of the board. So we are in compliance. I think the big deal with this is, making sure we reorganize within 14 days, of the election, but we have to wait till the election results are certified before we can.
BCB,
Mrs. Matthews and I went over this not too long ago, duties of the board president and duties of the vice president. So that's what that addresses.
any questions about that? BCC, one, when I
For the
read
board
that,
officials.
yeah, treasurer has to have a bond of security.
Mhm.
Does our treasurer have a bond of security?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does
And
that
something,
apply to the
yeah, it's
school
something,
district?
yeah, it's something the
Mhm.
school district is taking care of.
Yes.
I mean, they took care of it for me.
Right.
And they made sure that Paul, once he was taken over, that is taken care of for him. So it actually has to be two separate bonds,
Absolutely.
in order to be, compliant. But yeah, absolutely, it's something that the school district takes care of for us, thankfully. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, is there any other questions about that? BCCA,
This is,
did we elect an MSBA delegate and over?
So the MSBA changed their position on having a specific delegate necessarily. If in the absence of voting for one, they appoint the school board president the voting delegate. So Marianne, you were, now, because you weren't there at the last MSBA, and it was only I that was the only one that was there. So I went ahead and he stepped in as the delegate because they allow you to substitute an alternate delegate at any time. So for sure, we can elect one. That's why the provision is in there. Used to be you always did elect one because they did not have provision for the president to be the automatic delegate. In order to try to boost some of their voting numbers, they went ahead and just made the president automatic and allowed it to be the next person if they weren't available.
So do we need to change the verbiage on that?
I mean, it's up to you whether, as the board president, it's your prerogative whether you want to be that board, whether you want to be that voting delegate or whether you prefer somebody else to be.
Well, I'm not saying that, it says elect an MSBA delegate.
Yeah, and so the way that the MSBA handles that is that we elected a president, so
Yes.
therefore we've elected an MSBA delegate.
you're
So-
automatically, yeah.
Okay.
But this, was, the last date adopted was 7/29/2009. And that there was no changes to that since 2009, even with what the verbiage that you're saying?
Yeah, because honestly, it's just what the MSBA gets to select how their delegate process is handled on their end. And so they said that they're going to just appoint in the absence of a board telling them otherwise, they're going to appoint every president to be the board delegate for the MSBA. So they did that so that there wouldn't have to be a policy change, I think. They kind of did it around. But it's entirely up to our board whether we want one or we don't. And it's up to the president to kind of decide whether, she wants to assign somebody to be that or not, so.
Well, do you think that we should change this to reflect what they're saying, what the verbiage that you're stating?
I think by default, they're saying you will elect one. We, as procedure from MSBA, have already said that the board president will be the delegate. So by default, if you don't elect someone, she's elected automatically. So I think it's just a play on words in that to say we shall elect one or it's already delegated. Because it was the year before last, I believe, when they changed that. as far as the, by default, the president would be the elected delegate. So I don't know that it formally really matters unless we were gonna elect someone different. I think we could obviously follow up with MSBA to say if they're planning to change their language, but I think that's all it's saying is if you go from the difference of the automatic appointed, you will elect someone then.
Okay.
That's.
Yeah, as long as we're, in compliance with their verbiage, what they're saying, and then,
Okay. Is there any further discussion on that? BCE,
Board committees, advisory committees to the board.
And what committees will these be?
Well, for example, we do have, I guess, standing committees could be appointed by the board. But also we have board representatives already on some of our committees. Our District Connect Committee is a good example of that. Our CSIP committee, we already have board members on.
But this specifically addresses
Standing committees, right.
That the board appoints as with a collective action.
Authorized.
We don't have
No,
any committees right now that.
right.
But if we did, if we decided to have one, then this would be the process.
Right. Follow.
I just didn't know, for instance, of when we would ever do that.
Maybe if we were doing some long-term planning and wanted to investigate, some options, we might do that. For example, in facilities or instructional programming, you could set aside a special committee to do. Well, fuel, I think you probably want to let Dr. Wheeler and I handle that. We can take care of that for you. More global issues typically.
Already.
Yeah. That's a good question.
BCG,
This is School Attorney Legal Services.
are we paying him to, oh, no. I don't know.
We'll talk about that later.
Attorney annual basis if 30,000 people or more, what is that?
Districts including one or more cities or towns having total population of at least 30,000 may retain an attorney on an annual basis. It's just.
I think that's speaking to the fact that we could have our own, we could actually hire our own.
On staff.
district on-staff attorney,
Like the
If we had
DNR
it,
office.
which we don't
Every
have
day.
a city that has over 30,000, so.
We do have a school district attorney, but we call him when we need to, yes.
So we need to hear a recommendation to approve, I'm not gonna go through these, but the last 6 that we just discussed. No, I'm asking for one.
Last month we didn't do.
We decided that we needed to just review these, and then if we had some suggested changes, then I would contact MSBA and see, because they, yeah.
Set tax hearing date and August meeting.
Yes, and due to some staffing and personnel, things that we'll talk about a little bit later, we had thought about, Mrs. Matthews and I had thought about setting our tax rate hearing date and August meeting maybe the same evening. We'd have 2 separate meetings. We've done that in the past. We can do that. We thought about delaying that until the 3rd week in October, just because we get multiple pieces of data about our state tax rate, our tax rate from Johnson County and Pettis County, and they will send you revisions. So what I receive like this week may change next week, may change the next week as they get more up-to-date information. And so for me to bring you good data, good complete information, we do need to meet later for the tax rate. However, we do have some staffing and personnel hires that we feel like that we are going to have to make before the third week.
You said third week of October.
August,
right?
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not doing very well on my months tonight, or am I? Yes.
Just want to make sure.
You want to change the meeting to the 19th of August?
Well, we had talked about doing the tax rate hearing the August the 19th, but we're going to have to meet on some personnel issues to make some hires probably before then.
So you want to leave the date the same?
Well, we start school on August the 13th.
So are you recommending just having a tax rate only meeting on the
Yes,
19th?
make it very short on the 19th, and then we'll have our regular scheduled, but which is the night before. That doesn't work extremely well, but we could do that night before school starts. We probably need to meet earlier in August,
Are you talking, because you're talking about hiring? issues?
talking about hiring.
So move the meeting from the 12th
To the 5th.
Would it be possible for us to move it to the 4th or the 6th? Clear Wednesday?
Yes, we could clear Wednesday. I know it's hard. We have some commitments. Either the 4th or, yeah. What day is better, that Monday or
Is that early
Tuesday?
enough that we can still meet at 6 for you?
Yes, the 6th would be better.
Yeah, Tuesday would be better.
Tuesday, Thursday's better.
Thursday's better for me.
That's fine. It's not Monday.
So Thursday, what date?
The
Sixth.
6th
The
of August.
Well, we'll have to move the
And that's
regular
gonna be
meeting
at
because
6
it's the
o'clock
day before
tonight?
school starts. We need to hire somebody. Okay, you know, we could, this is another option. We've brainstormed multiple ideas on this because we just found out about this last night that we probably need to do this. We're thinking that we could keep our tax rate and regular meeting on the 19th. That week later, and we could have just a special, very short executive session in early August or latter part of July to hire a personnel we need to hire. It's really whatever the board would prefer.
I like the idea of we just come in for the short tax rate,
Okay,
knock out our meeting on that 6th.
okay. Can we do that with all of our end of the month stuff, Katie, by the 6th? It's gonna be hard. Or should we just leave it at the 12th? We don't. It's really hard. It pushes it.
So, I mean, at the risk of running two, longer meetings, but we could split up that month's. I mean, there are more than just the tax rate hearing things, so we just approved on the board calendar that we can take part of that and put that at the beginning meeting and put part of that at the later meeting and try to make two shorter meetings as opposed to one really long meeting and
We could, if we could just do our bills later in the month. That helps us.
Like on
On the 11th, that Tuesday.
Is that too close?
Well, that's we have back to school nights, the bash. We could maybe do, it's just, we're probably gonna be hiring staff and to tell them 2 days before
No.
or 3 days, they're gonna walk into a classroom.
What's your?
So would it be all right for us to schedule it for the 6th and the 19th and I'll allow you guys to kind of hash out the way you want to do that?
Yes, that
That'd be all
would be
right.
great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Mary Ann and I can talk about that. The 6th and the 19th, that's great.
Both at 6 o'clock?
The tax rate will be
Usually we
on the
do,
19th.
and we have to set that a half an hour. We do have to set that tonight.
Yes, we do have to set that tonight and a half hour before. Will we need to start that?
6:30.
Can we start it at 6:30 on the 19th, Mrs. Davis? Or 6?
On the 19th.
Oh, on the 19th.
Mhm.
Yeah, you are at work.
At 6:30?
6:30? Okay, so August 19th At 6:30 will be our tax rate hearing, followed by our monthly board meeting at 7. And August 6th, we will be scheduling a meeting to hire personnel and staff, and other things that may come up to shorten so we don't have too long meetings. Can we do that at 6 o'clock on the 6th? Okay.
But the 19th, you said 6:30.
Yes, 6:30. Tax rate 6:30 and then regular meeting at 7. You can do 6 on the 19th. Okay. So we'll do a 6 o'clock tax rate on August the 19th. I'm sorry. Thank you all for your flexibility. August 19th will be the 6 o'clock tax rate, and we'll start the school board meeting at 6:30 on August the 19th.
Do you need a motion to set the tax rate hearing?
I
can't remember.
Let's approve it. Yeah, let's approve it. Yeah.
Might as well.
Mhm.
So I'll move that we set the tax rate hearing for 6 o'clock on August 19th.
I'll second.
At 6 o'clock.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, old business.
Thank you for your flexibility.
We have no old business. We're gonna adjourn. 7:35.
I make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to RSMO 610.0213, RSMO 610.0213, RSMO 610.0219, RSMO 610.0211.
Okay, we need a roll call vote on that. A second? Okay. Yeah.
Aye.
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 See you back here.
Thank you.
That's right.